Hey, how's it going, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all having a fantastic start to your week. I know I had a great weekend, and hope you guys did too. And today we're going to be doing ourselves a delicious vegetable nut roast Wellington. So, kind of a nut roast, but put inside a Wellington. I'm also going to put a little bit of stuffing around the side, puff pastry, wrap it up nice and tight, wash it, not slice it, but score it. And then we're going to put it in the oven very nicely. And we're going to do some very straightforward stuff. Mashed potato and just a few little veggies as well. I'm going to show you how to make a delightful, delicious vegetable gravy as well, because obviously a vegetarian dish. So yeah, we're going to show you how to do that today. So I hope you guys and gals are looking forward to it. The vegetable stock we need to crack on with first. So let me grab a large size pan. Also, if we got any like spare stock left over, which I don't think we will, because by the time I finish making gravy and whatnot, I don't think there will be any left over. But if there is, the good thing about it, you can bag it up and you can freeze it down so you can save it for a later date. What I'm going to do, top and tail, cheeky onion. We don't need to dice this up super fine like you see me do it many occasions. So we just need to cut this up nice and roughly. Because it's for a stock, doesn't really matter, does it? So, but we're just going to chop it up into like kind of quarters, or into 3, and then 3 long ways. And then what we're going to do is just chuck it straight in the pan. So I'm going to get the pan on the stove actually with about a tablespoon of oil. Don't go adding too much oil. You don't want a greasy stock, do you? So, I mean, you can have a little bit in there, but don't go too crazy. So I'm going to put that onto a medium heat and a tablespoon of vegetable oil or canola oil, whatever takes your preference, my amigos. So there we go. There's our beautiful tablespoon in there. Just got to heat that up nicely. And then we're going to start adding those vegetables straight in there, just to saute off very, very gently. Right, so let's cut this down. Nice and rough. Beautiful. So a rough, cheeky chop. And what we're going to do, I want to kind of cook these down until they're like kind of starting to caramelize, get a little bit of color. So we're kind of getting a little bit of a dark kind of vegetable stock with this, so for our gravy. So that's going to be plenty of onions there, so we're going to get quite a lot of flavor from it. Let me grab out the celery next. We're going to give that a wash, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that. Okay, let me take these down. So as you can see, it's quite soily when it comes to celery, so we're going to use about 2 sticks. That'll be fine. I don't want to go too crazy on the celery, but you can see they're very, very dirty, which in my opinion is actually good, because it shows it's been grown fresh, it's been on the farm. Do you know what I mean? That's, you know, soily vegetables is good. You know, it's been produced properly. So we're gonna give these a nice little wash. So yeah, super important. Wash these. Don't just chop them up and chuck them in. If you're not a huge fan of celery, the texture, sorry, you can actually peel the outside, right, and that will get rid of that kind of stringiness. So if you've got a peeler, you just peel the outside, and you can have a really nice texture with it. Obviously, we're just using this for stock, so it's not really going to matter. But yeah, if I'm usually eating celery, I usually just like peel it down before I chop it, or chuck it into like a, I don't know, bolognese or whatever. So just shows you a little difference with like textures and stuff. So yeah, if it's too stringy for you, just peel it, and you can still have, delicious celery and that beautiful flavor. It's much better, but not fun when it's like I hit a bomb with like food or a chemical, or if I come in contact with, yeah, you just got to be like super careful with that kind of thing. And you know, I just hope you're okay with it. And you know, I guess it's a learning curve, right? So you know, when you find out you're allergic to something or you're sensitive to things, do you know what I mean? You just adapt yourself so you know it doesn't affect you too much. Celery flavor is beautiful. It is. It's great. And you know, using celery in a lot of things for sure. Helping definitely in stocks and mirepoix, stuff like that is definitely essential. Right, I wanted 1 carrot as well. Oh yeah, we got it here. Perfect. Goodness me. Right, so let's grab that carrot out. Perfect. Let's give that a chop. Also, I will peel it. You'll be like, well, why? It's going in the stock. Actually, carrot peels are usually pretty bitter, and I don't really want a bitter stock, hence why I peel it. So don't tend to want to use them, but you know, it's up to you. Right, so we're gonna start cooking these down. All that cheeky sizzle, onions, carrots, the celery, Woo! All going in. So we're going to really nicely caramelize these down. Let me grab a little touch of bay leaf. I've only got like flakes of bay leaf because I could do with buying some more, but I totally forgot. So it's okay. We'll get some for next week or whatnot. Got some fresh thyme here. Don't need to pick the leaves down because obviously it's in a stock. It's not going anywhere else. We're going to strain it off later on. So 2 little sprigs of thyme in there. If you want to pop a little bit of rosemary, you want to go, in a different flavor profile, then you can add a bit of rosemary if you wanted to. That's looking beautiful. Get nice and beautiful brown colors on that fantastic stock. You can't rush stocks, right? You've got to let it develop for a good few hours on a gentle heat. And one of the most important things with stocks, never, 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 never boil them. Why, chef? I'll give you 2 simple reasons, right? And this is actually a quote from Anthony Bourdain's book, by not boiling them. If you boil them, you're going to actually have a flatter flavor. And second of all, mainly for kind of restaurants, this second point, is mainly for you'll get cloudiness with it. So you never want to kind of boil them. You want to simmer them, though, nice and gently, but not boil the living daylights out of them. Right, so this is looking fantastic. It's browned off really, really nicely, as you can see, without all the steam coming off. So what we're going to do, add the water next. Beautiful. And as you can see, it's quite a nice little dark, rich kind of color to it, which is exactly what we want. So I said I was going to put 2 liters of water, probably like 1.5. So each jug always usually fills about 500 ml. So this is going to be a liter now. We'll see how we're looking. Maybe a little touch more. Don't want to go too crazy, but you see that beautiful, nice little dark, rich flavor already in there, which is going to be grand for our gravy. Absolutely perfect. So yeah, I'm going to add another 500 ml, and that should be perfect. As I said, this is on a medium heat. Once it comes up to a simmer, I'm going to turn it down to a low heat. As I said, I don't want this to boil its socks off, and then we're just going to let it simmer down very, very nicely and very steadily. So we're actually going to go get another onion. I'm going to start the base of it. So we're going to need to start cooking the onions down. I don't need too much of a large onion like last time, so I got some smaller onions here, which will be perfect for what we want. Stop and tail. Let's get rid of these skins. Obviously leaving a finger width in the root. Don't cut all the way through, but we're going to cut horizontally all the way through the onion. The more layers you get through this, the more finer dice you're going to get out of it. So very kind of important. To get as many layers, if you want to super nice fine dice, then that's where you want to go with it. So, and then what you want to do is just pretty much cut straight across to a nice little dice, using your middle finger just for a little bit of guidance for your knife. If you need a little cry as well, that's fine. Have a little cry to yourself. Just dice this up nice. Perfect. So, and then with the tail end, what you want to do is just pretty much cut it down, set it, put it on the side, and then just dice it across. You should have another bit more of a dice. Right, that's two garlic cloves right there. So I'm just going to grab another one. Oh, Gordon Bennett's solid. There we go. So that'll do there. That's fine. To take the skins off. So just going to take them off very nicely. Just take a couple of seconds. Won't take too long. So watch your fingers on this bad boy. So I'm just going to push this garlic straight through. Just get about probably 2 little sticks because they're not very big, these. So let's use them. We also need the mushrooms, but we'll get them out very shortly. We'll start cooking them down, then we're going to have the mushrooms kind of last because they don't need sweating off too much. Right, so let's give this cheeky celery a wash. You can peel these down. So just peeling on the outside of the edge will actually remove that kind of stringiness. So if you're not a huge fan of celery, just because of the textures, maybe it's time to have celery again. So give it a try at home, give it a bash, see what you think. And also these little skins of celery, you can just chuck that straight into the vegetable stock. We're not going to throw them away. We're going to use them. So there you go. So let's dice this up very nicely. As I said, I want this more of a kind of a fine dice. Because obviously it's going through into the nut roast itself. So I mean, if you want it cut a little bit larger, you want a little bit more kind of textures going through, obviously cut it, a little bit more larger. That's fine. So, but I'm going to do mine nice and fine dice. But hoping you guys and gals will enjoy this. Right, so watch your fingers. So I'm just going to cut this down into little strips, and then we're just going to dice it up and add that to the celery. I could do with getting a little pan on, so what I can do... where's that pan I had? Oh, it's there. It's hiding from me. Right, so a medium-sized pan. I'm going to pop this onto a medium heat. Perfect. So that's on there. We'll add a tablespoon of vegetable oil and canola as well. So just 1 tablespoon in there. Right, so let's dice this up. Perfect. Carrots, celery, onion, thyme, garlic. What else do I want? Oh, mushrooms, but we're going to get that out in a second. So that pan should be hot-ish. Yeah, that's about there. We don't want it too hot. We don't want it like caramelizing, going crazy. Right, so we're going to add all these. So I'm going to sweat these down very gently. Nothing too crazy. Don't need to caramelize these. Otherwise, they might burn eventually when you mix it up. But we're just going to cook them down until they're super soft. So when it comes to mushrooms as well, one of the most important things, never ever go put these under your tap. Reason for it, they're like sponges. They'll absorb the water and you'll end up with very mushy kind of mushrooms. So they're like sponges. They will absorb moisture very quickly. So to avoid that, and sometimes if you get like kind of dirty mushrooms, the best way to do it is either get a nice little kitchen roll, damp it, and just wipe it off. Or you can use like a little pastry brush as another option. But personally, if you want less kind of moisture in there, if you don't care, that's fine. But honestly, I just give them a nice little wipe over with a bit of a damp kitchen roll, and you should be good. So watch your fingers. Right, so I'm going to dice these down very nicely to a nice little cheeky dice. So this is softening up really nicely. So we got the mushrooms, carrots, onions, garlic, thyme, all those beautiful flavors. I'm going to chop up a little bit of rosemary in here as well, but we can do that when it's kind of cooling down, so that's fine. So anyway, here it is. Just looking and smelling fantastic. We're going to let that cool down now. About 425 grams or 15 ounces of garbanzo beans or chickpeas. If there's a little bit of juice in that, that's fine. Right, so black beans are going in, same amount. Yeah, it's a little bit on the wet side, so we can add a little touch of breadcrumbs. I had a feeling we were going to anyway, so that's okay. But I don't want to make it too dry. I want that moisture to be in there. So this is kind of like roughly chopped. There's still little bits in there, so I'm just going to give this a nice little mix up. So I want a little bit of texture. I don't want this to be like just a pulp and just slapped in there. I want some kind of textures going on. So take out any more excess moisture, because you don't want a soggy Wellington, right? So I'm just going to take out some of this moisture. I still want moisture in there to keep it nice and moist. You don't want a dry nut roast. Nothing worse than that, but so it's kind of a little bit on the wet side. So just going to spread it out, just to damp it dry a little bit, just to take out that excess moisture, if that makes sense. So to spread this out. Second of all, you're spreading it out, and it will cool down twice as quick as well. So by increasing the surface area. I don't go too crazy with this. I'm going to add a fair bit of nuts. Actually, a little bit more walnuts than that. I mean, come on. We are making quite a bit here. So, there we go. But I don't want it to be like too nutty, where that's all you can taste is just literally nuts. I want all the other flavors going on, and you're able to tell they're in there. So, there we go. Chop, chop. Not going too crazy. I still want some kind of textures in there. I mean, you could even put them through your processor or food processor and just give them a quick little cheeky blend, but I'm just going to do this by hand. It's just going to save me a little bit of time, in my opinion, but wow, save myself time with washing up, not blending. Blending would be quicker, yes, but all right, so I'm going to mix them straight into the bowl. So that's going straight in. And we're going to start adding the chopped up rosemary And a little, we got thyme in there already, so that's fine. A little bit of parsley, that's what I wanted. Parsley and rosemary. So I'm just going to dice that up, add that to the bowl mix. Just a little small sprig, that's all we want. And just give this a nice little dice. I didn't need to be like super fine. I'm just going to go over it once or twice and that's it. Right, 1 tablespoon of, I was going to say soy sauce. Wait, it's Worcestershire, yeah. Oh. I mean, you could add soy if you wanted to. That's been soaking up really nicely. Can you see? I don't know if you can see it on camera, but you can actually see the moisture, right? It's actually just soaking up in. So these are quite a lot of moisture. I'm going to put another one on top and just let that really dry out a little bit. They cool down. They're super cold now. So what we're going to do with this mix is just drop that straight into the what's it called? The nut roast mix. So just pop that in there. So we've got all those beautiful veggies in there. Right, so we're going to give this a little cheeky mix. I feel like we should be okay with this. I don't think we're going to need to add any kind of breadcrumbs to it, because right now it just feels like it's binding really nicely. I don't want it to be too dry. Maybe we'll add a touch of breadcrumbs. I'll decide in a second once this is all bound. So, I mean, if I can shape it, maybe we'll add a little touch, but I don't want it to be dry. All right, let's have a look. I feel like it should be okay. I honestly feel like this should be okay. So, are we doing a big Wellington today, Chef? Yeah, good point, we are. From the looks of it, we are. So, what I'm going to do is just kind of shape this out nicely. I say shape out nicely, right? And, well, yeah. What you can do, let me show you a little cheeky trick that you can do to get it really nice and even, right? If you want to get a nice little perfect cylinder, what I can recommend to you is actually rolling it up in the parchment. Like so, without it spewing out. Like a little cheeky Christmas cracker. You don't need to tie the ends so tight. I mean, you could even do this in cling film, actually, would be a bit of a better option. But I'm just going to use the parchment as it's already on there, so there we go. So you get left with a nice little roll there, so it's good to go. So that's nice and even. What we're going to do with that, that's going to go in the fridge, ready to rock and roll, ready for our, well, Wellington. Stuffing, oh yes. So I'm going to make enough. I'm not going to go too crazy with this, but I probably will, knowing me. So I'm just going to break up this beautiful sourdough. Blend this up. Reason why we don't add anything else is because we want to get the breadcrumbs first. So if you add everything up, it's gonna, by the time the bread blends up, it'll be in a ball and it'll be a right mess. So it'll be too stodgy. So blending it up first is a must. So zest of 1 little cheeky lemon. Now when you're zesting, right? One of the most important things. You only zest one area, right? You only zest the skin, not the pith. So as you can see, I've only gone over it once, not twice. So I'm just like making my way around. If you end up in the pith or the white area, it's quite bitter, and you'll end up with quite a bitter kind of stuffing or whatever you're zesting. So just bear that in mind. Just turn zest, turn zest, turn zest, and you know, you'll get used to it. So I'm just going to cut this in half. Catch the pips. Have I got any cuts on my hands? I did actually have a cut last week, but I think that's sealed, so shouldn't hear me screaming. If you do, then you know there's another nick on my hand. Let's give that a nice little squeeze. Perfect. And the other one. So 1 whole little cheeky lemon. These are quite small lemons as well, so if you buy a large one, probably half will be fine. A little 2 sprigs. 2 sprigs will be fine. I can't talk today. It's Monday. I do this every single Monday, or when I come back, or from my day off, or whatever. Always can never talk. Right. So what we're going to do, we don't want the stalks in there, so what you're going to do is grab the top, just very gently, otherwise it will snap off like that, like so. Which you don't want to do, so just take the stalk, and then you'll be ending up with those beautiful little thyme leaves. So just pulling them off the stalks, and then straight into with the parsley, which I'm going to chop up. So, or you can just put it straight into here. Will probably actually be a lot more simpler. I'm going to dice that up very nicely. We don't need to finely dice this because it's going in the blender, but, you know, we're going to dice this up pretty well. Right, so let's cut this down. Beautiful. So about roughly 30-40 grams of butter. We're not going too bonkers with this. Now just be careful it doesn't clump up too much. Here we go. So as soon as it starts like kind of enclosing on itself, or it's starting to bind together, that's when you want to stop blending. If you blend it any further, you're going to end up with a stodgy stuffing ball that's just not going to be very pleasant to eat. So don't overblend it. Very important. Right, okay, that's plenty. So I'm going to use the one. I can use this if I need to. I can wrap that back up and use that for a later date, so that's okay. Right, so let me put the stuffing on. I'm going to egg wash it first. Stuff in. Then we're going to put that in the middle, and then we're going to roll it up very nicely. Let's put this in here. I was like, what on earth is going on? What happened? Don't tear. There we go. Beautiful. I'm hoping this is going to be big enough. If not, rip, and then we can try and sort it out. But hopefully, we should have enough to wrap and roll it. I think I kind of nailed this a little bit good. So hopefully, right, I do need a little egg wash along here. So, right, so let this rest now for another half an hour in the fridge. We're going to egg wash it, then we're going to score it very, very gently because we don't want to break open the puff pastry. And then this is going to go in the oven for about roughly 20 to 30 minutes. Shouldn't take too long. But I'm going to get it onto a nice little hot heat. So about probably, I would say 200 Fahrenheit to, 200 Celsius to 400 Fahrenheit. But if you've got a fan assisted oven, I think 180 Celsius to 350 Fahrenheit should be good enough. So we're going to go for that. But the most important thing when it comes to mashed potato though, make sure you actually cut them down into equal sized portions. Otherwise, some are going to cook quicker than the others. You're going to end up with sloppy mash. It's not going to be fun. You know, you're going to have to start again. So just make sure they're cut down into equal sizes. So let's chop this up. So watch your fingers. So you want them nice equal sized portions. You don't want to go too crazy with this. So 2 pinches. I'm going 2 bonkers with this. Perfect. So let's pass this veggie stock. So as you can see, look at that beautiful, rich, dark kind of veggie stock. So we caramelized the onions, the vegetables, all those beautiful things in there, and we got ourselves a fantastic stock. Look at that. Careful I don't tip it. A beautiful, nice, rich. I was going to say chicken stock. If I did say chicken stock, it's vegetable stock. Start making the roux. For our gravy. Obviously vegan, I'm going to be using butter. If you were doing vegan gravy, you can use vegetable oil and substitute for the butter. So that's there as well. So you can do vegan or you can do vegetable, whichever you prefer. So alright, let's put this on to medium heat. Roughly about 50 grams here, which you can't see. I was cutting on my board, I forgot to change camera. There's about 50 grams of butter in there. Don't have the pan on too hot. If you have the pan on too hot when you add the butter's going to burn, the milk solids are going to burn, so just have it on a low heat to begin with, right? Just careful this doesn't all fall in. If you want to use it by the tablespoon, that's fine. Rather than pouring it like me, if you don't feel so confident, just put it in little by little. I need a little touch more. Yep, we're good. So we've got a nice little sandy texture in there. So we're going to just cook that out just for about roughly a minute. Just to kind of make a start on cooking out that flour. There's nothing worse. You make like a quick gravy, you don't cook out the flour, and that's all you can taste in the background is that flour taste. Right. Alrighty, so a little bit of Marmite. Now we're going to start adding the vegetable stock. Now you want to add the vegetable stock little by little. Reason for it is because if you add it all at once, you'll end up with a lumpy gravy. So just make sure that, you know, take your time with it. Allowing the roux to actually absorb the liquid bit by bit. Oh my god, so good. Made out of vegetables as well. Beautiful. It does need a pinch of salt in there though. So let's give this a nice little egg wash on top. That's egg washed up really nicely. I'm going to score it very, very, very carefully because this pastry's thin. I don't want to cut into it. If I cut into it, rip. So literally, just going to score this very gently, very carefully, without putting any pressure on this serrated knife. We just want to score it, not open it up. Looking fantastic, so we score that up really nicely. That's going to go in the oven now. So, as I said, it would take about 20-30 minutes, maybe even 40 minutes, because this one's quite large compared to what I wanted to do, so that's fine. So I'm going to give it about roughly 30 minutes. Oh my lord. Look at that little cheeky gem. Right, so we're going to let that rest for roughly about 20 minutes. 20 minutes or so. Don't burn them, don't caramelize them. You just literally going to need like 20 seconds. You can even turn the heat off, right? And it'll still stay hot, the ring, and you know, you don't need a lot of cooking on this. Just enough just to kind of dry them out nicely. There you go. Perfect. So we dry the potatoes out. Obviously they're boiled and nice and super soft, but we just put them back on the stove just to give them that nice dryness. Nobody wants a sloppy, wet, manky potato, mashed potato, right? So start off dry and then you add the liquids like the butter and the milk later on. Or if you want cream, or some people add sour cream, you know, whatever takes your fancy. But for me, just butter and milk is absolutely fine to do. So. Oh, baby. Look at that. Look at that little gem. Beautiful. So you got the stuffing on the way all the way round. You got that beautiful mix in the middle with the nuts, the veggies. Oh my god, it smells so good. Look at that stuffing, the crisp, perfect Wellington. Look at that. Right, so that's what I call perfection. Especially for veggies, right? Don't want to cover the top, but, you know. This our vegetarian nut roast Wellington, stuffed with a lemon and thyme stuffing, puff pastry on the outside, and then that beautiful black bean, chickpeas, the spices, the flavors, the vegetables all mixed in. Fantastic. The creamy mashed potato, straightforward carrots and broccoli, and homemade vegetarian gravy using Marmite rich vegetable stock. Seriously, it can't get any better than this. Who said vegetarians can't eat well? So I hope you guys and gals have a great rest of your cheeky Monday. Thank you so much for all the love and support today. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the subs. Thank you for my lurkers. I appreciate all my lurkers. Thank you for just being here. Hope you enjoyed the stream. The short cooking video will be up on YouTube tonight. So give me a little bit of time to video edit and we can get it sorted. But have a great rest of your day. Be back tomorrow for that chocolate Yule log, 10 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Monday. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. And bye for now, amigos.